Heisman Trophy winning quarterback O.J. Simpson's wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend Ron Goldman were found murdered outside of a condominium in Brentwood, Los Angeles. The media exploded, and the trial known as the first reality show began. After being accused of manufacturing and planting fake evidence at the scene of the crime, Detective Mark Furman, the lead field detective on the O.J. Simpson case, was now under a microscope, and as the key witness, the prosecutor's case relied on Furman's credibility. Mark Furman was one of the initial responders to the murder scene and one of the 4 detectives to inform O.J. of the crime. After being accused of being a racist, Furman swore under oath that he hadn't used a racial slur in the past 10 years, but then tapes arrived to the courtroom exposing conversations where Mark Furman used every racial slur in the book and even used one towards Superior Court Judge Lance Ito's wife. Along with that, he also talked of stories of the LAPD police officers planting evidence and framing people of color. Many say this is what ultimately lost them the case. This is a reenactment of the events as they occurred.
Do you use the N-word when describing people?
No, sir.
Have you used the N-word in the past 10 years?
Not that I can recall. No.
You mean if you called someone the N-word, you'd forgotten it?
Well, it's hard to answer the question the way you phrased it, sir.
You have difficulty understanding the question?
Yes.
I want you to assume that perhaps at some time since 1985 or 6 you addressed a member of the African American race as an N-word. Is it possible that you have forgotten that act on your part?
No, that's not possible.
Are you therefore saying that you have not used the word in the past 10 years, Detective Furman?
That's what I'm saying.
And you say on your oath that you have not addressed any black person as an N-word or spoken about black people as N-words in the past 10 years, Detective Furman.
That's what I'm saying, sir.
So that anyone who comes to this court and quotes you as using the word in dealing with an African American would be a liar, would they not be, Detective Furman?
Yes, they would be.
All of them?
All of them.
All right.
What we vouch for in terms of Detective Furman, in terms of everyone in this case, is that no one planted any evidence at any time. There has been no false statement made about where the evidence was found, the analysis of the evidence, or its results. And the defendant wants to squirm away from the fact by playing the race card?
She talks a lot about this idea of a race card, and we take personal umbrage to that because, as this court knows, credibility is key in every case. So judge this about credibility. It's not about race. I happen to be black. He happens to be black. These men happen to be white. What difference does it make? We're all still Americans. The question in this case is credibility and whether or not this man has lied under oath, which the tapes will show that he has.
The review of these tapes indicate that Mr. Furman apparently made comments that are disparaging this court's spouse, Captain Margaret York of the Los Angeles Police Department.
Detective Furman, will you please resume the witness stand? Good afternoon, Detective.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
You're reminded, sir, that you're still under oath. Mr. Ullman, you may proceed. Detective Furman, was the testimony that you gave completely truthful?
I wish to assert my Fifth Amendment right.
Have you ever falsified a police report?
I wish to assert my Fifth Amendment right or privilege.
Is it your intention to assert your Fifth Amendment privilege with respect to all questions that I ask you?
Yes.
I only have one more question, Your Honor.
What is that, Mr. Ullman?
Detective Furman, did you plant or manufacture any evidence in this case?
I wish to assert my Fifth Amendment privilege.
This case is a circus!
I found this part of the case particularly interesting because it is possible that a murderer can walk free just because of someone telling an unrelated white lie. I also find it interesting how Furman pled the Fifth knowing it would not have helped his case. Maybe he had something else to hide and he knew the case was already lost.